Welcome back, everybody. I am returning to a game that I took a first look at several days ago. I want to revisit and just take a little further, deeper look at this game because I'm having so much fun with it. This is called Depraved. It is a Wild West city building sim that has kind of some story to it. It has kind of a feel of getting to know people a little bit. And if you want to see my very first look at it, episode 1, there's a link in the description below that'll take you to episode 1. We're picking up right where we left off, which is that we had a couple of deaths. Now, it's notified me that they were murders. But some people have noted that perhaps they were from the gunslinger that came into town and started shooting. And one of the people he shot was my doctor, who then later on, I think, just died of her injuries, and that's her there. So it may be that there are no further deaths that happen. But we are not at the place as a settlement yet where we can have, for example, the law enforcement tools that we need in order to arrest and imprison or even execute murderers. Those are things that will happen eventually. But in the meantime, we're just going to kind of keep on going with this. Looks like we've got a second grave being dug. Our undertaker, Essa Rish, is digging. There's going to be 2 more graves. One's right here, and then she'll probably be going to gather our doctor, Camille Donaldson, who died, and you can see her cause of death was murder. But we do have a new doctor's hut going up. I don't know if it's already finished or what, but we decided to make it a little closer to the center of town because the last one was on the edges of town, and that's probably why she was the first one to die. We don't want that to happen again. That doctor's hut got burned to the ground. So yeah, we're building one right in here. Once that's complete, we'll have a new doctor on site. So let's skip ahead and see what else happens. All right, so we've completed our tailor and our doctor's house, so now we'll have both of those things. We don't have enough laborers right now, so I'm going to build a couple new shacks so we can bring some new laborers to town. You can see here kind of the chain of things. We've got leather, and we can turn it into clothing, so we're going to need to get our hunter out there, hopefully gathering some more. I think our hunter's over here somewhere, gathering some more animal skins that we can turn into leather, so we'll get that going. There are 4 bodies total. I believe our undertaker's working on number 4 now, because we also had the person that did the killings that we had to kill as well. You can notice here that there's a cross here and there's one here. Those are the people that died early on, we didn't have an undertaker yet, so they just kind of buried them right where they stood. Oh, was that an Indian that just came into town and immediately got killed? Okay, a building in Tombstone's being attacked. Oh, we got an Indian raid going on here. Okay, so yeah, we've got Wapti, so we've got to get some people to deal with that. Oh boy. Now our residents being attacked. We need our people with guns. There's a way to do that. Right here we can show our armed residents. You can see they're starting to come over and kind of help out. They're not close enough. Okay, we got the Indian. Put the fire out, please, people. I hope it doesn't spread. The crime rate is too high. Nobody would like to work there. Okay, well, that's a problem. We're going to have to deal with that, but I don't have the proper residents to be able to unlock some of those things. Let's take a look here. Under production, no, that's not what we want. We can get a butcher now, so that's cool. We can, butcher makes meat and leather from livestock, okay? Seems like an important thing to have, although I don't think we have livestock yet. So we'll kind of skip on that just for the time being. Here we go. So what we need are, there's a water tower. That would actually be really handy. Watchtower, there's a fort we can have, but I think what we need more than anything right now is just law enforcement. We can get a bank. Here we go, a sheriff. We've got to have 5 settlers, and we don't have any settlers right now. So we've got to get what is needed in order to be able to have settlers in the first place. Let's take a look at our city overview. That's not what we need. Let's take a look here. Here we go. So under our population levels, you can see here we need bread, we need alcohol, and we need coats. So maybe and I don't know what kind of homes we need for them. Obviously, we need something better than a shack. Hotel, saloon, wooden church. There's the gallows, sheriff, and the bank. So maybe, I don't know, do we just upgrade these? Is that how that works? I don't know. So we'll have to figure that out. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start creating fields here. Now, granted, we're in the fall, so this is obviously not the time for a harvest. But I guess we'll go ahead and get something set up, and then that way when spring comes, we can go ahead and start with that. Wheat, corn, and potatoes. I don't know. Wheat seems like the obvious choice. Yeah, I know there's not enough laborers, and it looks like the crime rate has subsided now, so hopefully we can get an additional shack built, and we'll get another one built here to replace the one that we lost. Place that right there. What is this? Fire station. Oh, hey, that would be really helpful since we've had multiple fires already. So let's go ahead and place a fire station. It seems to me it makes most sense to put that a little closer to the homes. So we'll put that right there in the center of town. We're going to have to probably expand sooner rather than later, but I guess we've got some room out in this direction here that we could put some additional homes and things if we need to. All right, we have ourselves a fire station, and now we're working on a water tower, which should hopefully greatly improve the access of water in our village. So I don't know. Well, first of all, it looks like we are full on our stable, so I guess we're going to need a second stable, or we're going to see horses dying. So the problem is I'm running low on finances because I have to keep buying metal parts, and until I can find another way to import those or to create those metal parts, I'm going to have some issues there. So I'm going to go ahead and get another stable built because it looks like horses are starting to get parked out front here because we have nowhere else to put them. But I'm wondering if what we have to do in order to get settlers in our community is that we have to make sure that everybody's maxed out on this stuff. I haven't quite figured out how we go about getting settlers, so I might have to do a little research and figure that out. Okay, I believe I have an understanding of how this works. So let me pull this up one more time. Take a look at our citizens. So you can see the needs that are in red are bread, alcohol, and coats. Now, it's not enough that I just import those things so that they're available. I believe I need to actually be producing these things before we can start bringing in settlers. So that's the dilemma that we face. We have to be at a place where we are producing those things. So obviously, we're one step closer to bread because we've got a crop field that's producing wheat. I'm not sure that's going to get produced before winter hits. But so that's where we need to be. So it's probably going to take a little while to make that happen. Okay, we're going to build our next new thing here, and that's a sheep farm. We're going to throw that back here. Seems like a good spot to have it, and hopefully the sheep need nothing more than to be able to graze. Now that'll produce wool for me, which I believe should be an additional source for being able to make clothing. So metal parts continue to run out of stock constantly, but I can't keep buying these things. I will be completely out of money if I continue to do that. I'm bringing in about a balance of about $69 an hour, so I could very slowly buy more, but that's not going to get me what I need. All right, so we have a bit of an issue here, and that's that our land is now bumping right up against the Indian land over here. So we're probably going to need to figure out a way to get along with the Algonquin. Right now, it's not going so well. So we've got a couple of choices. We could send a raiding party just to go wipe them out, which I really hate to do, but I'm not entirely sure I see another way. You can see the number of people in our cemetery continues to grow, and that's mostly been from Indian raids that I've had to fight off. I've also noticed that when we have these horses that, say an Indian gets killed when they do the raid, I'll show you how we can take those horses. I've kind of figured that out. And what you do is you just tell one of your people to go mount the horse, and then they take ownership of said horse. And they just go park it and kind of go about their business again. So we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do about this. So what's happening here is that our hunters are entering their land. Our hunters have been killing the Indians that have attacked them, but they usually get injured like so. So what I've got to do is I've got to start telling my hunters to find another place to hunt so we're not crossing into their territory. Maybe we'll try to find some spot over here to hunt that is not in the Algonquin territory. It looks like we're safe over on this side. The Algonquin territory is right there. So, all right, that should solve that issue, at least until their territory grows further. And you can see now that things are not quite as bad as they could have been, but 30 seconds, I don't know what's going to happen in 30 seconds. We're going to find out, though. Is this when they're going to attack me again? I don't know. Let's see what happens. Or maybe that's just how long they stay angry at us, and then they kind of cool down. I guess we'll find out. All right, so we've hit winter, and here's the problem. I was warned that in winter, if we don't have a place for the horses, they die. So we very quickly got to get this stable up. I'm afraid these horses here are all going to die if we don't. Okay, we're in luck. The stable's complete. Now we'll see whether or not these horses get moved over to said stable. There we go. At least one person's taken there. Seymour Pinkney's taking his over there. And it looks like the others are starting to move theirs in now too. So that's good news right there. So now, the next things we're working on, of course, we've got our sheep farm. Now, I don't know if we've got to do anything in particular to actually have sheep. Oh, we've got to have corn. And we definitely don't have corn. So we're going to have to get a cornfield going in the spring. Obviously, the wheat harvest was destroyed because you can't plant wheat in the fall and expect it to survive through the winter. So we'll get a cornfield going, and then that way in the spring, both of those things. Oh, weaving mill. We can turn wool into cloth. I guess we're going to need that up here next to our sheep farm so that when the time comes, we will have a way of turning that into cloth. So we'll get that done. Well, there we have our weaving mill completed, though there's really very little we can do with any of that until we have our sheep, which we won't have until we have corn. So maybe we can buy some corn at least to get us started there. We're also building a silo to store the corn, and you can assign what is stored in a silo. Right here we've got a silo that'll be used to store our wheat. That'll go right there. So as soon as this one's complete, we'll do the same, but it looks like we're once again out of metal parts. I'm going to try to sell some meat and clothing, which I have in abundance right now, as well as logs. Actually, logs are not something we have. What I want to sell are planks, because those we have in abundance. So let's sell some wood planks. Just maybe 10 for now, just to try and bring in some money that we can use for a few things. All right, so we've got some bandits that have settled down close to our town. Now, that's not something I'm prepared to deal with. So we're going to go ahead and gather a team of folks that are going to go deal with them. So let me go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back. Okay, so here we go. I've got a team of folks here, including a couple of my gunslingers, but these are all folks that are armed. And we're going to take them in there, and we're going to go after these guys from the wild bunch. Now, I don't know if this is going to anger people and bring further bandits, but we're going to find out. I have a feeling these guys are going to be better at shooting than I am. Oh, hey. Yeah, see, we are not pleased that you have entered our land. You will see what you have of it. Yeah, well, in the meantime, let's see what's in the bandit tent, shall we? Oh, we still got to take out the other guy. Oh, boy. Yeah, they're pretty hardcore. So let's, I don't know, is there anything we can take from said bandit tent? No, I guess we're just going to destroy those things. I would rather have maybe taken whatever they have, but I guess we should get out of there and head back to what we were doing. But there, we dealt with the bandits. Oh, there are some guns we could take, so I guess we'll try to gather up these supplies if we can. All right, well, sadly, one of our residents did not make the trip back. They died on the way in the snow. And, of course, that's showing the criminal activity rate has risen because I have a murdered resident, which really was more of kind of killed in battle almost. But there you have that. We did bring home a couple of horses. I wonder if there's a way if I can sell these extra horses, because we've been getting a lot of those lately. I don't see a way to do that, because that would be really ideal if we did. So I went ahead and tore down the water tower here. It wasn't really getting any use, but putting it right next to the well means that we have people that are coming. They grab the excess water and they throw it right in the water tower. So it's a nice, quick, and easy way of doing things. I also went ahead and bought some corn so that we could feed the sheep farm. A horse died. A decaying horse can cause illness. So how are we going to go about I got to find where the horse died, I guess. Okay, it died right here. That was the one that nobody really ever claimed, I guess. And we've got another one right here. So I guess we're going to have to go and bury said horse. I don't know how we go about doing that. Is that something we can select people to do? No, I guess not. So just don't go near the dead horse, at least for now, huh? I'm also going to go ahead and get somebody to come claim this horse so it doesn't just sit there anymore. There we go. So now we're storing up a little water. That'll come in handy. It should be springtime pretty soon, and then we can start producing over here. But in the meantime, we've got our first sheep, and it's a friendly sheep. That's always good to know. But we bought some corn. Corn was expensive. It was like 64 per. So obviously that's gonna, I don't know if putting in one corn produces one sheep. I don't know exactly how this works, but we're probably gonna have to keep a steady supply of corn going. All right, we got ourselves an Indian raid, and it's in the worst possible place because it's on my warehouse. All right, this is a huge, huge problem that we've got to deal with really quickly. So let's get all these folks right here. Man, that's a really bad problem. All right, we took him out, and thankfully, because we now have a fire station, we were able to get that put out before it got too bad. But obviously crime rate for a little while, but not a huge issue. We need to get more pioneers going because what we need, it looks like somebody got hurt. What we need are some of these other buildings unlocked that we don't currently have. We need 30 pioneers for a trading post. We can transport goods from A to B. To build up a trading route, you need at least 2 trading posts. So that would actually be really helpful. A watchtower requires settlers, which we don't have. Fort requires merchants. A hotel requires 30 pioneers. So we could actually get a hotel going if we just build one more shack. So let's do that. I don't know what a hotel will do, but hopefully bring in some much needed revenue. All right, we've made it to spring now. I forgot that I was really low on funds because I just unlocked some additional worker slots for my farms because it's really a priority that I want to make sure that we get these farms fully stocked, especially so that I can be producing the corn to keep this sheep farm going. So I did that, not remembering that I was almost out of money. It cost $250 to unlock each of those slots. So I used up what money I had left. I've got to go ahead. I'm working on selling some things to make some of that money back. I'm going to sell a bunch more clothing because we've got a lot of clothing available right now. But we've also got to bring in some more metal parts. So hopefully that all balances out okay. All right. Well, it's springtime and things were going pretty well, but we've got a bandit that just started attacking our woodcutter's hut. So once again, we've got to get all of our armed folks to the rescue. You're not armed. Get over here and deal with these guys from the Dalton gang. Oh boy, one resident already killed. Not feeling particularly good about how this is going. In fact, did we just flee? Our people did not flee from this, did they? Get back there and fight them. I guess we got him now. No, this guy's still there. Looks like we stopped him, but I don't know what happens now. Yeah, we got to deal with that. All right, so I guess we're just going to wait for these guys to die on their own because we disarmed them. So now I'm going over, I'm taking their weapons. So at the very least, we will have done that. There should be another weapon over there somewhere, but we'll take their horses next. Let's go do that. Wish I could sell them. I don't find a way to do that. We got a lot of sheep going now because we have the corn. You can see corn, the crop field's up to 39%. The wheat hasn't really gone any further, and I'm not sure why. I don't know what the deal is there. Oh, the soil quality is 10%. Ugh, no wonder. Oh, that's not good at all. So I guess we can probably fire at least one, if not both of these workers, because we're not going to have much of a wheat harvest. We're going to have to find somewhere else to do that. Oh, here we go again. Another attack from these bandits. Man, they are just giving me fits. So let's go ahead and go after this guy with whoever we've got available to us here. Oh, he gave up. So take his gun. There we go. We got the fire put out, so that's good news. Let's go ahead and take his horse too, shall we? A horse has died. Yeah, be careful about that. So we've got to get enough residents so that we can make a gallows, because I really want to have a hanging in the worst way. Oh, we are harvesting the corn. That's some good news. I did destroy that old field and plant a new one that had better soil. The field is expensive, and that's what took so much of my money. Even a crop field this size was like $1,200 to plant to place. So that's why my money went down as fast as it did. But we've got ourselves a harvest of corn, and that should save us a ton of money on keeping these sheep going, at least for the foreseeable future. Now we've got to start getting this going so we can get bread. I desperately need bread. What else do we need in order to be able to get settlers? We need alcohol, and we need coats. Now, coats I believe I can make here. There we go. We just have to switch over from clothing production to coats. So problem solved. We'll start making coats. Now, as far as bread goes, obviously there's no way for us to do that quite yet. I think we probably need to start planting some trees, because we're having to go further and further out to get trees. So we're going to probably need a forester pretty soon for that purpose. But for now, that's kind of where we're at. Time to build a hotel. We're going to place it right here in town. I want to get a good look at that as it goes up. That's going to probably require a lot of resources. Not as much as I thought. 20 wooden planks and 2 metal parts. Those are pretty easy to come by. Once we get to 40 pioneers, then we will be able to have ourselves a bakery. So by the time we get that many pioneers, we should have our initial crop of wheat coming in. It's not going to be a big one, but it'll be decent. So I finally figured out how to sell horses. Right here, if you go to the stable, which we have 2 full stables, we have more horses than people in this town. We can sell a horse for $25. So we're actually going to sell off 10 of those bad boys. That's going to get some much needed income, but does not get me back to even quite yet. But not a problem. We've got a few that are kind of still sitting around that need owners. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that. We're going to grab these horses because we've killed their previous owners. And then we can sell additional horses. And that'll get us back to even. Hotel's about done. We're just waiting for a builder to come finish it up. But it looks like they're also building these additional shacks. So things are going well. We're a little tight on money, but hopefully the hotel is going to be a source of revenue for me moving forward. Hey, there we go. We've got a hotel. We'll see how many residents we get and see how that affects things. I paused all these other shacks from being worked on so we could get our workers to go finish with the hotel. So I don't know what's going to happen. We'll watch what happens. Oh, there we've got our first resident of our hotel. I'm hoping that brings in money for me, but I guess only time will tell. So we hit that magic number of 40 pioneers. Now we can build a bakery, a mill that turns wheat into flour, and a distillery that makes alcohol from potatoes and from water. So now we're going to need to plant another crop, this time of potatoes. And it looks like fields can be used multiple times in between seasons, because as soon as we harvested the corn, they immediately planted another crop of corn. So that's some good news. We're going to need to go ahead and start planting some potatoes. And I also want to get a trading post going, because there's some things that we're going to need there. But most importantly, of course, is going to be our mill. And we're going to put the mill right by where we're producing the crop of wheat, so we can immediately start dealing with that. I'm definitely bringing in some money. I can't find anywhere that it tells me directly that I'm making money from the hotel, but I've got to think that's what's happening, because my my money started going up as soon as I had that hotel. You can see now almost 200 per turn. Now, granted, part of that's from additional rent from 3 new homes, but it can't all be from that. So we've got a pretty busy little town that's more and more thriving. Obviously, the biggest mistake I made early in the game was not building my town over here by the railroad, which meant I couldn't make a train station and earn income that way. But there's nothing I can do about that now. I like seeing this long train of people bringing wood over here. All right, we got our first wheat harvest. And it looks like we're sticking all that in the silo for now. And now our mill, which is nearly complete, we're just waiting on some more metal parts, will be up and running. And we're obviously going to need to then build a bakery so that we can turn that into bread. We've got some areas over here that are not quite big enough. So where, oh where, can we throw our bakery and squeeze it in? We're going to need to save up some money here soon so that we can expand once again, because I am running out of land. All right, so I've squeezed in a narrow field in which to plant potatoes back here. And we're going to put a silo there as well, because once I have potatoes and I can start producing alcohol, I'll have everything I need to start bringing in that next level of residents. Because you can see here I've got a bakery. Everybody's bringing over the wheat now, or the flour. You can see they're unloading all kinds of flour to me here. So we're taking the wheat, taking it over there, we're turning it into flour, and then we're bringing the flour here to the bakery. We're going to start producing bread. And now you can see, once we start meeting the needs of bread, we are also producing coats. Then all we need is alcohol, and we can start bringing in settlers. So we'll get that the potato field going, and since we've got 2 workers there, it should go pretty fast. And then let's go ahead and take a look here at production, because what we need is the distillery to take water and potatoes and turn it into alcohol. Now, where in the world I'm going to place it is quite another story, because we are so almost out. I guess we're going to have to do it here, and they'll just have to kind of walk around the back right here to grab that stuff. And we'll start producing alcohol. So we'll take this episode up to when we get our first settlers, and then I think that'll be more than enough for this episode. All right, now we're really in business. We've got ourselves a distillery. Now we're just waiting on our first potato crop, which we're about halfway on. Now we don't have to wait for the potato crop because we've got a little bit of money available here. So let's see what it would cost to buy ourselves some potatoes. 64. Now that's expensive, but honestly, I don't mind buying the first 10 just to get this distillery up and off the ground, because at that point, we take a look here, we're just waiting on alcohol. And then if we can produce fish and jewelry, we'll have everything we need from merchants as well. So I'm pretty excited about that. Well, we can produce all the alcohol we want, but until we have a saloon where people can come consume that alcohol, well, we're not doing ourselves any favors. So we're going to throw the saloon right back here over by the distillery. So short journey between the production and distribution. Bandits have settled down close to Tombstone. I'm not going to worry about them too much, at least not yet. All right, well, we've done it. Because we've started producing alcohol even before the saloon is built. Since we got those potatoes going, we now can upgrade our shacks. You can see these little upgrade buttons over here. We can upgrade our shacks, and when we upgrade our shacks to a simple house, that turns those pioneers into settlers. So that's what we need. Let's go ahead and start upgrading some of these bad boys, because what I need right now more than anything else is I need access to mines. I want to throw a stone mine in right here because we're having trouble finding places to get stone right now. So that's going to be kind of my first step, but we got a lot of other things too. So as soon as we get these settlers, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. There's so much more to do. But I still want to continue my series looking at Ostriv. That was the first priority. But I couldn't help myself wanting to go back into this game a little more. All right, here we go. We're about to have our first simple house. Excellent. So there's our simple house. We've got new buildings now available because we've got our first pioneers. So let's go ahead and take a look. How many do we need to have? Coal mines need 5 settlers, not pioneers, settlers. So as soon as we get our next house built, we'll have access to a coal mine, to the iron smelter, to stone mines. There's gold mines that'll be available at 30, and we've got an area for gold mining nearby. A cattle farm, we're going to need 5 settlers, so that'll be available. A water mill at 10 settlers. And hey, we can now build a gallows. Oh man, I've been excited about that. We're also going to be able to get a sheriff. So, gallows. This looks like a good spot for a gallows right here. Actually, let's get a little closer into the center of town. There we go. We'll get that built. The rest will wait because there's a lot more to be built once the second simple house is built. So we will finish this up by getting this gallows built. That'll be the end of this episode today. Okay, so the situation is we've started to have discontented residents, which tend to become violent. But thankfully now we've completed another home. So now we've got access to a sheriff, we've got access to banks, we have access to mines, which are going to be huge for me. So a bunch of new things available. Looks like we're going to need another cemetery soon. I've started the process of building a pig farm because we're going to need another way to get meat. I'm just not producing enough meat with my hunters, and I'm constantly out of meat now here in town. So the hounds are not pleased with me. So we're going to have to watch out for them now. They're right over here. So they're just outside of my territory. So we're going to have to deal with them, but we're going to put up a sheriff. We're going to deal with all of that in the next episode. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you have particular questions or observations, please let me know. Drop a like if you would. That'll let me know you want to see more from this series. And we'll come back in probably 4 or 5 days with another episode. Thanks for watching.